Mr. Speaker, I now yield to the gentleman from Barron for another Black History moment.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Barron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor today to recognize Luska J. Twyman, former mayor of Glasgow, Kentucky, who many of us in the community considered a small-town hero. Much of the information I am giving today have been given by local historian Sam Terry. Mr. Twyman was born in 1913 in the high school community in Barron County and attended public schools in Barron County, but graduated actually from Mayo Underwood High School here in Frankfort. He then attended Kentucky State College, where he majored in history, education, and English. Kentucky State University became one of his passions, eventually serving on the Board of Regents. During World War II, Mr. Twyman served in the Philippines. During that time, during the war, he also was married and settled in Glasgow, where he started a lifetime in public education. In 1950, he oversaw the construction of Ralph Bunche School, which was a school for first through 12th graders, and upon completion of the school became the principal. Then in 1964, Mr. Twyman was very involved in the movement toward integration and equality in schools. The Glasgow Independent School District integrated in 1964, whereupon Mr. Twyman's calm but determined spirit was a big part of that integration going as smoothly as it did. He then stayed on as principal at Bunche for all sixth grade students throughout the school system. He was an active member of First Baptist Church, where he served as a deacon, pianist, and organist. But what Mr. Twyman became known for was his involvement in politics. He served in the City Council of Glasgow. Then in 1968, he became the mayor of Glasgow, Kentucky. When the mayor at that time resigned and he was appointed mayor. Then in 1969, Mr. Twyman ran for mayor in a town of 90% whites. Mr. Twyman was elected mayor, receiving a majority of votes in all 9 precincts despite stiff competition. Then he was elected, at that time when he ran for mayor, Mr. Twyman was only the second Republican who had been endorsed by the local paper, the Glasgow Daily Times, and its up to then 103-year history. Mr. Twyman was, as I mentioned, was a member of the Baptist Church, and he was also a Republican, and he was asked by people, you know, why? And he said, well, I was a Baptist because I was reared as a Baptist, and I was a Republican because my mama was a Republican. Mr. Twyman served as mayor for 17 years. He was elected 4 different terms as mayor and turned Glasgow into a model city. When Mr. Twyman was asked about his role as mayor and his role as city council and his role as an educator, he said, helping the city of Glasgow prove to the world that blacks and whites can live in harmony. That's what I want more than anything. And Mr. Twyman was revered and adored and respected in Glasgow. He became, of course, obviously very well known because he was a black mayor in a predominantly white town. But for us in Glasgow, he was more well known because he was a good, decent human being. He became the first African American to become a member of the U.S. Commission on Human Rights. I happen to personally know some of his family and friends with some of his family. You could not meet a more dignified family than the Twyman family. And it's my honor to do that. He passed away in 1988, and I'm very honored to honor Mr. Luska J. Twyman today. And thank you for this opportunity.